Today we're here to work with Chip on that Barris car that we found, and it's an unusual kind of project because it's requiring that we don't replace everything with new product, but we do something that's sort of period correct.
Well, as you know, on the Barris car, I'm not restoring this car, we're trying to preserve it. But there are some things that you can't preserve and you have to recreate. Richard from Magnaflow has brought some mufflers that he's recreated for us because these had pretty much had it.
Yeah.
There's not really much left of this. But Richard was able to build a one-off set of mufflers that we're going to put back on the car.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of pay tribute to the style and the visual, you know, that whole theme of you trying not to replace anything that you don't have to. But here we got carbon monoxide gases that are going to pop out. We could already see where kind of like the heat and the leakage problems are going to cause like the underside of that undercoating start to melt. So we had to, you know, get rid of that problem. So we do not do this kind of crimp style muffler, but I did want to kind of preserve that kind of inverted cap look. So we rearranged some parts and we made it look more like something that fit the era. We've gone to a stainless steel so we don't have to worry through the rot out. But also we've incorporated a few things that you don't get with these traditional mufflers, which is you always used to hear about, you know, glass packs kind of pushing apart or, you know, blowing through, and you can kind of see how the seams here are separated.
You've got a tube in the middle that's perforated, and that's going to expand, but the outer is not going to expand at the same rate.
Right. It's got more material, less heat, so when that internal core does that, it tends to push the ends apart, and that'll destroy the internal, which you can see has kind of happened on that one. Typical of like period, you're going to find that all that water accumulation in the storage causing them to pretty much rot out. So that being said, we wanted to go to something that was a stainless steel product like we had, but Chip put a little caveat to that, which is he wants it to look sort of like what came out. So it put it to my team. They went ahead and did some inverted caps to make it look more like the original product and something that was more, I guess, era correct. But we still kind of gave it all that technology that we have inside of our later model mufflers with, you know, a sliding perforated core, stainless steel construction, and of course, packing material that's more indicative of our modern sound. Here we have a split internal, so it's a little bit more of the modern piece, and it allows it to actually slide up to 1/4 of an inch for thermal expansion while still maintaining the same kind of perforation pattern we like.
So you don't put the bind on the caps.
The caps, right. And that was the problem with these is, you know, they'd push out a little bit and the mechanical crimping would just keep pushing until they fell apart. Here we've got a fully seam welded component. And like our other parts, this part is something we just TIG welded up to make there, but we also have a completely welded muffler, no mechanically bound seam. We have a laser welded seam, TIGged on the outside, MIGged on the inside, and of course all the stainless steel parts. So got something that's going to be all the modern technology that's put into the muffler, so you don't have to worry about it. But also at the same time, we wanted to make sure that it kind of still looked like it was something from the era.
Well, we're still just preserving the car, but this is a consumable item on a car. So I didn't want to replace it with something that was going to go away really quickly because this car will probably sit a lot. When you get moisture in, this is what happens. The stainless steel, it'll last forever. So,
lifetime warranty.
Fantastic.
Well, let's get them fitted inside. I'm pretty sure we have everything kind of squared away. So
yes,
tailpipes and everything are ready to go.
Yeah, and we're preserving all the original tailpipes, just replacing the consumable part of the exhaust.
Fit in there nicely.
Yes, that's awesome.
One of the things too that this car is kind of unique to, and we'll see it on the other side, is, you know, this was a factory single exhaust car, and when the Barris modification happened, they wanted a true dual. You can kind of see this wasn't a factory pathway.
Right. Yeah, that used to come over here.
Yep, and it was like a Y pipe.
They kept that off,
yep.
Right. Had one tailpipe coming out, but now they cut that, and they cut the full frame.
I know, I saw. It's been all plasma torched out, and we've got some more modern style clamps on this side. It doesn't have the traditional muffler clamps, but again, to your point, we wanted to try to preserve what they did in the era, and kind of be period correct with the styling. So we're not replacing any of that stuff. We're just going to put the muffler where it was before. And let's put it back here.
Right there, I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah, same way. Seams are both on the inside.
Yep, we'll go back and grab those other hangers and put those back together.
Tighten that back up.
Yeah, that's got your traditional like floating saddle clamp that was pretty much right for the era. On this side, we've got a little bracket that's been welded to the frame, and it's got like an isolator, but It doesn't even have that complete bracket over here. It's a little different.
It's missing one lock washer, so I'm gonna go grab one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this side has one lock washer missing as well. So maybe it was
So
intended
maybe it's
to be
intentional. I'll go grab some though.
that way. Yeah.
Go grab them.
Thank you, sir.
Now, have you built mufflers like this before?
I mean, every once in a while we'll build some one-off stuff, but this is not our traditional manufacturing kind of protocol. So I have done this for other restoration type cars. Yeah, we want to kind of preserve that history of what kind of things looked like in the era. So our engineering shop is capable of kind of making things look the way they have to. So we get a lot of movie cars and things like that where we have to recreate particular looks that are for a particular era. And insofar, we even do stuff for some of those nostalgia race cars.
Oh, nice.
We got some customers that come through that they want to run stuff that doesn't look so modern because they have a nostalgia car that they're running in a nostalgia class.
Perfect. Let me grab a socket for us.
I got one here. 3/8.
A 1/2 inch?
Yep.
Oh, you got that?
Yep.
All right, I'll leave it with that.
Can you check the tailpipe alignment and make sure we got that?
Yep. It was about an inch further forward before.
How's that?
That's not too bad. Yeah, that's good. Gotta get this. It's interesting how they made that clamp before.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the other side, it was just a strap of rubber.
That I think I need to do something with because that's gonna fall.
Yep.
If we try and drive this. So I'll come back and I'll make some better clamps. Now, how do you think the sound will differ?
Well, being they're both like a straight through design, if you kind of look through the old one, it had these little like sub chambers in the front, but for the most part, it was a perforated core style muffler. So traditional to like that glass pack sound, it'll be very similar. We're using a 2-stage packing, but it'll be a little deeper sounding, just kind of typical of like our MagnaFlow mufflers. Our packing material kind of provides that deeper resonant sound. So they should be very similar though.
It should sound really good.
Yeah.
Cool.
The whole point was we wanted to kind of preserve what was there, so.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
Just a couple clamps and we're good.
Yeah. Pretty good there?
Yep.
Pretty good.
The only thing we have left is we got to put the, similar to this U-bolt clamp, we'll put one on each end of the muffler, but we don't have those yet. So got to find those and get them on. But as of right now, we can start this and drive it because they're not coming off. We just want those U-bolts to actually seal it. Cool. Well, I can't thank you enough.
I'm just more excited to hear what it sounds like when we get it fired.
Let's drop it down and start it.
The way it turned out looked great. The product looks like it's something that could be there. It's a little shinier than the rest of the car, but other than that, it functions the same way and kind of provides the same function.
blowing out some rust?
A little bit.
A little cold-blooded. I like the sound of that blower too.
Yeah, you get the blower whine.
That sounds
That
good.
small tube kind of error correct noise from the exhaust. Well, I was actually more surprised that the car runs as well as it does. I mean, it's a supercharged V8 application with a ton of aftermarket parts. So the fact that it runs this well and actually has that sound, I'm super impressed. It's got a good tone, and at the same time, it sounds like it should for a vehicle that was built in the 1960s. And all the exhaust gases are coming out behind the car, not under the car now.
Well, thank you, sir.
No problem. I guess next step is you got to get those clamps in. We'll get those bolted up, and you've got a lot of work to do.
I got the clamps put on. I got to finish putting in the kick panels. Now, they pulled the kick panels out and painted them gold. They looked horrible. I actually took acetone and wiped all that gold off.
Cut the paint off, okay.
Yeah, and they're blue, but I haven't decided yet whether I want to put it back the way George had it. But I don't know if George did it or if the owners did it.
Right. And we noticed that too when you got the car in. The exhaust kind of had another addition with those side pipes, and they in a couple pictures had the side pipes, and a couple pictures didn't, but they were all non-functional.
Right. I have them. They're somewhere right around here. I thought they were on that bench, but I'll make that decision whether I run them back on or not. I may run them back on because it looks like the car's lower.
Makes it lower, yeah.
So.
And it was kind of a look back in the era too. There's a lot of those that you saw that were bolted on some of the cars. I do a lot of restoration stuff on. They're just there for looks.
Yeah,
they
as
wanted
you
the
know,
chrome.
they weren't hooked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have those, and I've got the skirts.
Oh yeah.
One's
for
over
the
there
rear
on
tire
bench,
skirts.
One's right there. So I gotta bolt the skirts on, and then we can start enjoying this.
Nice.
So, wonderful.
Well,
thank you, sir.
Let me know if you need any help with those side pipes. Otherwise, we'll be back soon.
All right.